7 weeks today, the American voters will deliver their verdict. But will they get to hear some of those arguments in a televised debate next month? It's all a bit up in the air. The two sides still at odds over the format of that ABC debate, although I'll show you very shortly a Truth Social posting that Donald Trump has put up tonight, which suggests he is going to take part. Let's bring in Sidney Blumenthal. He's the former senior advisor to the Clintons. It was unlikely, wasn't it, that either of the candidates would walk away from a televised debate. Donald Trump saying tonight he's reached an agreement with the radical left Democrats for a debate. It will be on ABC. The rules will be the same, interestingly, he says, as the CNN debate, Sidney.
Well, his argument has not been so much with the Harris campaign as with his own campaign. And the Harris campaign has been playing with his campaign because he's at odds with them. He's been joking, so-called, in public about firing his advisors. He's very unhappy with them. They want him to stick to the issues. He is not sticking to the issues. He's asked crowds whether or not they agree with him that he should engage in personal attacks. And Harris, by raising this question, has created friction within Trump's own campaign. And I believe that was the purpose of what went on.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at the polling right now, the vice president's gained a small lead in recent weeks in some of the critical swing states. But the Democrat strategists are cautious about whether she can maintain that trajectory. So I just wonder who needs this debate most.
Well, Trump definitely needs it because he's lost a lot of his momentum. He's very disoriented by the replacement of Biden with Harris. She has erased his defects, and running against Biden, even Bidenomics, is a difficult uphill battle for Trump because she is perceived as completely different, a generational change, and she used the convention to establish herself and as a strong figure. I believe that the key thing that happens in the debate is that she passes a threshold of strength, which is supposedly Trump's great attribute. And when she does, as she did at the convention, particularly in her speech, then there's really no stopping her.
But she hasn't sat for an interview yet, Sidney. And there are some who say she needs to get in front of the American people to set out what her policies are. Because if you don't set out policy, then you don't have a mandate for government, do you?
She's begun to set out some economic policies. She has not yet given an interview to the press. I think she should hold a press conference after the debate and let the press have at her. And let them discuss what went on in the debate. I think we'll see it after the debate. I think this is not right now a pressing issue for the public or affecting her poll numbers or her momentum.
Let me get the view of our panel who are with us. Annabelle Denham, the elephant in the room, I think, for both candidates, whether it's Trump or for Kamala Harris, is actually the Trump tax cuts from 2017, which are due to run out the end of 2025. So that's basic rates of taxation for individuals, families. So she's really pushing the same message that Keir Starmer is pushing, that it's those with the broader shoulders who should carry the burden. But he is saying, look, we'll continue these tax cuts, and that might be more appealing in some of these swing states.
Well, I think that's right. The Republicans do lead the Democrats when it comes to the economy. People trust their stewardship more than they do the Democrats' stewardship in the economy. And it's no wonder, because despite the stimulus that Biden has pumped into the US economy, people are not really feeling the effects of that sugar rush. All that they are seeing is prices go up on the supermarket shelves or house prices. They're struggling to make ends meet at the end of the month. And before the pandemic, pandemic, rightly or wrongly, many people's memory of the Trump administration was unemployment going down, taxes going down, and many people, though I wouldn't support this, were in favor of his more protectionist measures when it came to imposing tariffs on countries like China. So there was broad support for much of Trump's economic strategy. And the difficulty, of course, for Kamala Harris is, while she may try to mimic Keir Starmer's Ming Va's strategy, saying very little. And we saw that a fortnight ago when she attempted to set out some kind of economic agenda, which amounted to little more than price controls and removing taxes on tips for people working in restaurants and bars and so on. And she, whilst she may be trying to say very little, the difficulty, of course, is that she can neither cheerlead nor criticize Bidenomics. Her hands are tied.
Robert, have a go at that. There's a lot to go out there. She doesn't want to drop the Ming vase. That's why she hasn't sat for a TV interview. I dare say the Republicans would point to the interview she did with Lester Holt on NBC a couple of years ago, which didn't go altogether well. Are you frozen, Robert? Can you hear me?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that was addressed to me.
I beg your pardon. Sorry. Yes, I was throwing that one at you. I just thought you might want to come back at what Annabelle was putting down there.
I think Kamala has a wonderful case to make. Let me just be clear, folks. Since 1959, the United States economy has created 51 million jobs. Of those 51 million jobs, 50 million were created under Democratic presidents and 1 million under Republican presidents. If you want to live like a Republican, you've got to vote like a Democrat in the United States. And people get that when you talk about things like taxes. All of those swing states, those blue states, I mean, those red states, you go talk to people about who they think ought to pay their taxes. It's rich people. It's the billionaires. The three families in the United States control as much wealth as the bottom 50% of the population. People get that.
And that was the issue, Sydney, wasn't it? That people didn't feel that Joe Biden prosecuted the case well enough on some of his own achievements.
Well, that's certainly true. And those defects now no longer exist with Harris. On the question of economic trust, Harris has now become equal with Trump. On the question of the Trump tax cuts, they're not popular. They favor the wealthy. It's a drag on him. And she can use that to talk about what kind of tax cuts she wants, including child tax credits, which were very popular until the Congress dropped them, and other tax credits that can go to the middle and working class. I must say that public opinion is very dynamic, including and especially on the economy, and it's swiftly changing right now. On Friday, one of the most important announcements was made that will affect the election by the Federal Reserve Chairman, Jerome Powell, saying that inflation in the United States is over.
Can you see a scenario, Robert, just quickly, I've only got a minute left, where actually they get a rate cut just before the election, which gives them the bounce they need to get over the line?
I would suspect there will be a rate cut in September, and I think that will help. But I just want to be clear about one most important thing. This election is about turnout. It's about, most people agree with progressive positions in America. If we get them out to vote, we're going to win. But we've got to do the work to get them out to vote.
Okay. We'll have to leave it there. Sydney, it's always good to have you on the programme. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.